What's up, core reporters, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a great day today. I sure am, amidst the news that disgraced former teen mom to baby daddy David Eason has officially been charged with child abuse. Oh my goodness. When I saw the news last night around 1 in the morning, I yelped in bed, like, holy cow, this can't be happening. This is incredible. I was starting to lose hope. I made a video yesterday about a TikTok that Jenelle had released, and I was just saying at the end of it, I'm starting to lose hope. This is taking so long. It's been like a month since we heard about the investigation. And now, lo and behold, a couple hours later, we were going to find out that David Eason is charged with child abuse. Lord knows I cannot wait. And I hope and pray that this man is convicted of these crimes, because he has just been allowed to roam around unchecked, feral for way too long. There have been way too many allegations of child neglect and abuse against him over the years. This man has lost custody of every single one of his children at least once. One of them he is permanently never able to see, right, throughout his childhood. So there's very clearly something wrong with this man. And again, we already know that he shot the 10-pound family dog because I guess he was in fear of his life, his 300-pound life or whatever. But anyway, I'm just so happy, not only because I was starting to lose hope, but because this vindicates Jace so much. His own alleged mother, Jenelle Evans, went on a smear campaign against him. Do you remember that this shell of a woman went online and claimed that CPS was actually protecting her and her family, which doesn't include Jace, against Jace and his mental health? She said that the press had it all wrong, the truth would come out, and that she and David were the ones who were actually suffering at the hands of this child's mental health. Like, the freaking audacity that it takes to have that kind of a stance when your child has allegedly been abused by your husband. There's alleged video footage of this whole thing. You allegedly were there to witness it. In fact, you claim that you were there. Your other children were there. And this is the stance that you take to throw this child under the bus, claim he's a liar, and that you and this unemployed prick you live with need to be protected from him. Absolutely vile and disgusting. So for now, TMZ is reporting that the charges have been filed against David Eason, but they say that there's still a possibility that Jenelle can face charges of her own. And Lord knows that I hope that that is the case. If there's anything this woman deserves in life, it is to be charged for child abuse right alongside David stinking Eason. So let's get into these charges, shall we? I know a lot of you guys are disappointed that they are misdemeanor charges. I am as well, but listen, any charge is better than no charge, especially amidst this propaganda war that Jenelle has waged against Jace. Now, let's get into the difference. Speaking of disappointment surrounding misdemeanor child abuse charges, let's get into the difference between misdemeanor and felony charges, okay? So when it comes to misdemeanor, according to Kurtz & Bloom, which is a law firm based in North Carolina, they're saying that the North Carolina General Statute, one of them, 14 through 318.2, look at me reading it like it's a Bible verse. A person commits misdemeanor child abuse in North Carolina when a parent of a child younger than 16 or another person providing care to the person, and that is obviously David in this case. He is not Jace's parent. He is the person who is supposed to be providing care to Jace, inflicts physical injury on the child, allows someone else to inflict physical injury on the child, or allows a substantial risk of physical injury to the child to be created. The offense is a class A1 misdemeanor in North Carolina, which is one of the most serious misdemeanor violations in the case. So I really hope that this last phrase here at least gives you guys some level of solace, right? Let me just repeat that. This offense is a class A1 misdemeanor in North Carolina, which is one of the most serious misdemeanor violations to the state. Remember, at the end of the day, they're trying to get a conviction here, so they cannot overcharge. And I think that they are being very strategic with this filing here. And it's a very serious charge nonetheless. So it's not like it's nothing, okay? So Now, when we talk about the fact that Jenelle might also be facing some charges of her own, that is outlined here, right? When they say that when someone else allows someone else to inflict physical injury on the child. So if it is true that David Eason assaulted Jace in front of Jenelle and she allowed it to happen, and not only that, but she is waging war against her own alleged son on social media, charge that girl. I almost said charge that yeah, but that's a little too vulgar. But that's what I'm saying in my head right now. Charge her, throw the book at her, because that is disgusting. Okay. Now there's another thing to kind of look at here that I wanted to cover with you guys. So let's get into North Carolina felony child abuse charges, which is, what you guys were very much interested in seeing David face, myself as well, of course. So sorry, let's, oh Lord, did I not put up the proper? Hang on, you guys, one quick second. I thought I had put up the image for the North Carolina. Okay, well, I don't have the image, so I will just read it to you guys, okay, as I put up this photo of Jenelle, just to keep you guys a little bit focused while I read it to you. So when it comes to North Carolina felony child abuse charges, actually, you know what? Let's go back. Sorry, I'm a little disoriented today. I think I had it in here already. Yeah. So this is the description. North Carolina felony child abuse charges. According to North Carolina's General Statute 14 through 318.4, a parent or caretaker can be charged with Class D felony child abuse if they intentionally inflict serious physical injury on a child less than 16 years old, or intentionally commit an assault on the child that results in any serious physical injury to the child. Other potential child abuse charges in North Carolina include, so this is where I have that other screenshot. So Class B2 child abuse, intentional infliction of serious bodily injury to a child younger than 16 years of age, intentional commission of assault that results in any serious bodily injury to the child, or impermanent or protracted loss or impairment of any mental or emotional function of the child. Wow, that's really horrific to actually read with your own eyes, that people could do this to children, to the point where these children suffer permanent impairment. God bless those kids, and may the devil come for the people who do that. Class D child abuse, serious bodily injury, prostitution, or other actual acts perpetrated on a minor. Class E child abuse, willful or grossly negligent acts or omissions of care towards a minor that demonstrate a reckless disregard for human life that results in serious bodily injury. Class G child abuse, willful or grossly negligent acts or omissions of care toward a minor that demonstrate a reckless disregard for human life that results in serious physical injury. So based on their definitions of the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony child abuse charge, I do understand why he was charged with a misdemeanor versus a felony. A felony seems to be you're the child was knocking on death's door, is disfigured or whatever based on what you did. And they allegedly have video footage of this alleged incident. And from what they're seeing, and based on the injuries that Jace had when he was in hospital, he did have bruising allegedly on his neck and on his arms, but these are not serious bodily injuries. You know what I mean? So I can see why they went for one and not the other. You can't overcharge. You're basically throwing away the case if you do that, right? Should the way that these things are weighted and the classifications be different? Maybe. But I think that they did what was appropriate here. So now, just to give you guys a little bit more background on how all of this was investigated, Kurtzen Bloom Law Firm says that generally police investigate these types of cases by evaluating the child. And we saw that happened, right? Jace was at the hospital and he was evaluated by CPS, police, and other representatives. Medical or mental health experts might also get involved in the process. Additionally, North Carolina Child Protective Services may be ordered to evaluate the entire family and household environment. Again, that is something that we had heard was happening. David and Jenelle were reportedly trying to obstruct their investigation and prevent them from being able to speak with their other minor children, Kaiser and Ensley, and eventually a judge handed down an order that said, listen, if y'all keep playing in our faces, you know what we're going to do? Before we were going to interview these kids in your presence, but now since you're acting like that, nuck if you buck, we are investigating these kids. Interviewing these kids, and you're not going to be allowed anywhere near them while we conduct that. How do you like them apples, right? So, all of this seems to have gone exactly as it should. So not only do they evaluate the family, they're looking at the family environment. So I believe that these brave men and women actually stepped foot in that swamp and saw what the home was like. I remember in the past, in 2019, when Jenelle was initially supposed to leave David, there were reports of punches, holes of punches. What is it? I'm sorry, you guys. What do you call this when you punch a hole in the wall? They said that he had punched various holes in various walls, and it was very disturbing. So I wonder if that is still the case. They say that these state agents may interview neighbors as well. Ooh, but here's the thing. Janelle and David live in a very secluded environment for a reason. So that might be tough when it comes to the neighbors. Family, they're kind of estranged from their family, though I know that Barbara came in clutch, I'm sure. I wonder if Kaiser's grandma Doris spoke up, because remember, she had to take charge of him, and she had accused David on camera of punching Kaiser. So maybe that came in. Friends, they're not really known for having friends, so maybe that was out of the picture. And others about their parenting skills and other information. So these people are so secluded that, like, when I look at these lists of things that exist in normal people's lives, right? Neighbor, family, friends, you're kind of like, do they have any of these? So they say that corporal punishment in North Carolina is allowed by parents, but such action can be considered abuse if it goes too far. The North Carolina Child Protective Services manual notes that significant trauma and tissue damage, such as bruises, welts, or lacerations, may be signs of child neglect, in brackets, inappropriate discipline, or child abuse, depending on the extent of the injuries. Therefore, parents must be careful to moderate their actions to avoid falling victim to the system. So I think in another video, perhaps we will get a lawyer on the channel again. We're going to have to examine the difference between child abuse and child neglect. I believe we spoke about this briefly with Dimitri, but I would love a lot more information about it. Now, when it comes to the penalties for misdemeanor child abuse, they're saying that being convicted of misdemeanor child abuse can result in life-altering consequences for you and your family, depending on your prior criminal history. Child, let me take this picture down so I could smirk. Depending on your prior criminal history, and we all know that if there's one thing David has, it is a resume, not for work experience, but for criminal experience. He could fill a wall with his mugshot. So, oh, this is not looking good for him, and I love that. Depending on your prior criminal history and other details of the crime, the court can impose an active, intermediate, or community punishment as your sentence. The maximum penalty is 150 days in jail. And I hope he gets every single last one of them and add tax. Additionally, your child custody rights can also be negatively impacted. Wow. Anyway, you guys, this is huge. This is major. David's extensive criminal past is not going to help him at all when it comes to this. Him shooting that dog back in 2019 is not going to help at all. And just all the other allegations. Again, Jenelle has publicly accused him of getting physical with the children. She's accused him of locking Kaiser in a car. So even though she's changing her tune now because she's in good with David, all this stuff rests open on public record for life. And I do think that they have had an impact on this investigation and will have an impact on this trial, as well as David hopefully will face every single last minute of those 150 days in jail. Oh my God, this is absolute insanity. You guys, I will be posting a link to this source that I am reading from in the description box down below, because I do find it to be incredibly informative and easy to read. And I hope that you guys are able to take the time to really look into it for yourself as well, because I know that we are all very invested in this case, and we're so happy for Jace that these charges are finally raining down on David, and hopefully Jenelle as well in the future. So yeah, make sure to stand by for that link. It'll be in the description box of this video. So again, I am so freaking ecstatic to hear that David Eason has been charged with child abuse. I do think that this is very well deserved. I will be following this story with a lot of intensity as usual. And again, Jace was so brave for continuing to run away and speak out and saying, listen, I will keep doing this as long as it takes. I don't care what happens. The only thing I care is that I don't have to live with these beasts ever again. And I'm happy that law enforcement listened to his wishes, looked into the situation, because it is very, very shady that a child keeps on running away from a home, right? It just means that there's something going on there. So I'm happy that they took him seriously, that decided to look into the situation. And when it comes to David and Jenelle, I don't think they're ever going to be accused of being good parents, except by other people who probably need to be investigated themselves. So it's no surprise. It's just so wild to me because in her smear campaign against Jace, Jenelle claimed that CPS was like, close with her. They were like telling her that Barbara was behind all the leaks and Barbara did this, Barbara did that. They know it's all Barbara's fault and Jace is a danger to her family's mental health. All of that, like talking and posturing just for your bum ass husband to be charged with child abuse. That is embarrassing. And the fact that she is not outraged the fact that this has not opened her eyes to the fact that this man is a danger to her and the kids. Like, in fact, she is doubling down and fighting harder than ever for him. Complete and utter trash. She will never be vindicated. I swear. Please, if you were ever a fan of Jenelle, please, for whatever reason, if you ever were, please let that end now, because she has shown you exactly who and what she is. She already did that in 2019 when she chose David over the kids, right? And she's doing that right now. And this time, instead of just staying silent and not blaming the kids, she is blaming Jace, the victim in all of this. And I find that to be reprehensible. And that is why I hope that those charges come raining down on her head as well, because she is liable. If this happened and there's video footage of this and the children are, testifying to this, and she watched it go down, and she not only had nothing to say, do to protect her child, she went against her child, lock her the F up. Anyway, you guys, that does it. A little recap of what is going on there. I'm going to be analyzing the Instagram post that she's been making, speaking out on David's behalf as well. So stay tuned for those videos, okay? Let me know what you think about the charges in the meantime, especially now that we've kind of run down the information on what the difference is between a misdemeanor and a felony child abuse charge, okay? So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say about all of this, and I'll see you in the comment section. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.